80-20-365, a time management system to help you achieve your goals and dreams in 2021 and beyond. We all have the same amount of time. Our results depend where we invest it. This is Living Your Life Well Planned, the 80-20-365 success system with its inventor, Adam Vincent Gilmer. I'm your host, Gene Velitis. Welcome to episode 57 as we carry along here. You may be listening to this podcast on iTunes or Spotify, or perhaps you're joining us with the video podcast here on Adam's website, 802065.com. As we always like to remind you off the top, make sure you go into the website and get your daily planner. It's about $1 a day, and it's going to be your GPS through this free course. Not too many free things out there these days. When you're at the website as well, check out the bank system. If you're in direct sales or any sales really at all, the bank system can increase your sales production by more than 300% if you simply follow the rules and get to know the system well. It's a brand new language of how to sell. Now, for the next couple of episodes, we're going to talk in this episode philosophy, and then in episode 58 and 59, we're going to go over some of Adam's lists. You may have seen these on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. I just want to talk a little bit about the list, and then we're going to drill down into each topic on the list. Now, these next 4 episodes, they're going to be going by in supersonic speed. And when we get to episode 60, we're going to take a look at Adam Vincent Gilmer's bibliography, and we'll talk about the books that he recommends you read and study. I was looking at the list a couple of days ago when we were preparing for these upcoming podcasts. I've read a lot of these books as well, but there's some I haven't even heard of. So it's going to be great to get to know these books. So 4 episodes coming up: philosophy, the lists, and the books you need. So let's start off here with a bit of philosophy. First, let's welcome Adam Vincent Gilmer. Hey, Adam, how are you?
All right. Good morning, good evening, good night. Good to be back here in Southern California.
Excellent. Oh, I forgot to mention as well, we have a whole bunch of new countries who are now listening. And we are now up to 47 countries worldwide who are either subscribing or downloading Living Your Life Well Planned. So that's really, really exciting. You know what? We just keep marching on and it gets better and better. So Adam, first of all, I want to talk a little bit about philosophy as we go through these 4 episodes in record-breaking speed. I was looking at Instagram the other day, and on your social media for 80-20-365, I saw this posting. And I just said to myself, we've got to talk about this one. And the posting was, people will work for 10 years for minimum wage, but they get angry and they quit their own business because they're not making $10,000 a month in 30 days and go back to their minimum wage job for the next 30 years. And you know what? That's so true. It's all about having a goal and not giving up, which is exactly why you need your daily planner. And you can go back to previous episodes and find out why. But you know what, that caught my eye, because I've had many direct selling businesses, and I've created people in my downlines. And, I've noticed people just like that. They either have a fear of failure or a fear of success, and they want everything to happen in 30 days. And you're right, they get angry and they go back to that minimum wage job. Drill down into that philosophy. Why does that happen? And what do you need to do to get away from that?
Well, that's why it's on philosophy, personal philosophy. Jim Rohn said, you got to set your sail. And the setting of the sail determines the direction of the boat that you're in, and the boat's this vessel that you have. So, most people would rather spend $1 million than make $1 million. Well, first of all, it's a lot easier to do. It's a lot easier to spend it when it's somebody else's, but when it's your own and you've actually made that kind of money before, then there's a different personal philosophy that goes along with that. And it's the same thing we teach in the 80-20-365 system, and also in the bank system, and some of the books, as you said, that I mentioned on my social media post. The way you change your personal philosophy is by taking in specialized knowledge, which is, in the 80-20-365 system, you got being brain being, you got to be able to say, okay, let me go and listen and take in this specialized knowledge. And where do you get it? Well, you can get it at some schools, not many, but some schools. Most schools teach you how to be a fantastic employee. Okay, they don't teach you how to think outside the box and be the boss, or be the person in charge, be the person making the decisions. A lot of people would rather just go and plod along in life, for the 9 to 5 and do that stuff versus actually go after their goals and dreams, which are inside all of us. And if anybody's going back through the episodes and listening to the different podcasts or on YouTube or Instagram, whatever, what we foster is you taking in specialized knowledge so that you can change your life. The reason why people go back to what's easier is because the challenge is tough. But they also then, because challenges are tough, they're not willing to face those challenges in life and have a set routine, be specific, get serious, write down their goals and dreams. Because they're not willing to do that, what happens is they default, just like a program. That's why they call it like TV programming. A lot of people watching the news and all the, I was like, listen, people, you're being programmed. Be careful what you're listening to. And what you're listening to, Gene, to answer your question, develops your personal philosophy.
Which is another reason why in episode 60, we're going to be getting into your bibliography. Now, you said two things that caught my attention, and I want to bring this to the attention of people either watching the video or listening to the podcast. You said it's important for people to think out of the box, and that got me thinking. It's to think out of the box unless you have a free podcast like this. Adam is outside of the box. And by listening to these podcasts, he is literally giving you the instructions that are written on the outside of the box for you to get out of the box. Am I right?
100% correct. Why would you? Okay. First of all, this life that we have, I just commented on actually Sherry Tree's post right before I was speaking with the family. And that's why I messaged you, said, hey, I'm going to be a few minutes tardy this morning. But, it comes down to all of you, everybody listening has a personal choice in life. Maybe you didn't necessarily remember choosing to be here on this planet right now. But now that you're here, now that you have this consciousness, you're all operating under free will. So free will gives you the opportunity to, explore, take a look at things and see if things meet up with your personal philosophy, or you're going to reject it. And that's fine. But the challenge is that a lot of people have been taught how to be, great employees. In other words, and no real personal leadership. And that comes down to the same thing. How you develop your philosophy is what information you're taking in to this consciousness that you have. And when you exercise the consciousness, what ends up happening is great things take place. I'll just give you an example. Like in the last couple of months, we just seen people go into outer space. 2 billionaires racing into space and make things happen. Where did that personal philosophy come for them to say, listen, we're going to move the human race to this next, challenge? And they stood up to that challenge and then went and made things happen. And both, when you look at Branson or Bezos doing this, okay, they have changed the way we think. And that's a big deal. When you change your personal philosophy, it gives you a new belief system, and new belief systems allow so many new things to happen in your life, allow you to move forward, and allows you to conquer the fears that you did have.
And you brought up a good word, fear. Most people are in their comfort zone, and to get out of that comfort zone, you have to move across what I like to call the fear and terror barrier. Now, for those of us who have crossed the fear and terror barrier, you would not believe what's on the other side. And once you get there, you get into another comfort zone. But if you know how to cross the fear and terror barrier, it gets easier and easier. So when you see people in your business who are, for whatever reason, they're getting disappointed and they're thinking of going back to that minimum wage job, and they haven't, had the car, from the company and the $20,000 check within, 20 days. What do you say to that person who's maybe going back into their comfort zone?
I'm also a big movie person, so I like to watch certain movies. And some of the movies I like so much, I watch them over and over and over again, whether on Netflix, Vudu, Disney, whatever the case is. But the movie I'm going to reference right now is the movie called The Matrix.
Mhm.
And what I love about it is there's a scene where Keanu Reeves, Neo, jumps into a Cadillac and is cruising down the road with Trinity. And Trinity, he wants to get out of the car. And Trinity, the car stops. They look down the road, and Trinity says, "Neo, you know where that road leads because that's been your life." And Neo sits back and thinks about it and ponders it and decides not to get out of the car and stay in the car and go for the ride. And that, of course, changes his personal philosophy. Well, the challenge is when people are getting that's the choice. Yes, it's easier to go back to what you know. Of course it is. It's simple, but it's harder and it's more of a courageous choice to stick in the car and go in a new direction and explore. Go somewhere you haven't done it before, and see what new surprises and what gifts and what things you find along, what gems you find along the road. Um, the Matrix is all about leaving your one consciousness and becoming part of a real consciousness, right? Something that's important. And all of you have these important things. One of the other posts I put up on Facebook was we all have dreams. And what's funny is dreams never die, right? They're always activating in the back of the head, going on and on and on. Why is that? Where is that consciousness coming from? And why are you driven to have these thoughts and replay them over and over and over again? I think, the inner voice, universe, aka spirituality, God is asking you, go and do this thing. And here's the great thing, the world has programmed you against you going out and living your dreams. So why not go against the assumption that you can't get it done and go after it and make it happen? And by the way, if one person's done it, you can do it. And
Exactly.
It's not that difficult.
Yeah. As we wrap up this episode, I'm reminded of an old saying, and we've talked about this when you and I are on the road and get a pretty good laugh out of it as well. And the expression is most people tippy-toe through life, hoping that they make it safely to death. And they say things like, well, it's better to be safe than sorry. But you know what? If you get to your last day on this planet Earth, if you've led a really, really safe life, you are going to be very, very sorry and you want to do it all over again. So, I guess the question is, Adam, today's the best day to start to change.
There's no time like the present. And here's this, it's just personally making a little change in the thought process. I have my planner right here, right? So, things planned out, organized, put together, what have you. Why? Well, we just recently had Jessica's grandmother, my wife's grandmother just passed. She's 82 years old. And, and we knew that she was going to pass. It was just, health had deteriorated over the years. But what's really great was everybody coming together and understanding that she led her best life. Okay. And that's what you got to look forward to, people, is saying, hey, do you want to have the rocking chair theory going on in the back of your head? You're 80, 90 years old, you're sitting on the rocking chair and you're thinking of all the things you could have done. And now you just don't have the energy to do it, versus going for it, living life on the edge. And here's the other saying, if you're not living life on the edge, you're taking up too much room. So I want to encourage everybody to do something different, change your personal philosophy, and let's see where you end up in 5, 10, 15 years from now.
Excellent. There goes episode 57. When we return with our next episode, if you're a binge listening or watching, go to it right away because it's going to be a really great follow-up. In episodes 58 and 59, we're going to talk about a couple of Adam's lists. And then in episode 60, we'll get into the bibliography of books you should pick up, read, and study. He's Adam Vincent Gilmore. I'm Gene Velitis, and this is Living Life Well Planned. 80-20-365, a time management system to help you achieve your goals and dreams in 2021 and beyond. We all have the same amount of time. Our results depend where we invest it. 80-20-365, living your life well planned.